Okay, let's go live here. We are live on Facebook, but let's see why. There we go. Yes, there we go. Interesting how much light is there. Let me see this. I'm going to do this, everybody. Yes, see that? I'm pulling. Yes, perfect. Hello, everybody. I should be live. Tom Caltabiano here. Everybody loves Raymond. Am I live or am I talking to only people in the room with me? Yes. Hello, Massachusetts. Hello, Leo. Are you guys still in the dead of winter? How am I sounding, everybody? Am I sounding too loud? Hi, Jan. Why the yawn? Hi, Jan from Toronto. Let me see this. Hi, Kim. What happened? Hello, Gil. Oh, yes. Is this a more civil hour for you guys in the UK? Because don't get used to it, right? When do you guys go to daylight savings time? I assume next week, but I could be wrong. Hello, everybody. Hello, South Africa. Hi, Lady Lee. Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Thomas. Thank you, Gil, for letting me know that I sound pretty good. All right. Today, as usual, we'll taste something that's in the cookie canister. We're close. We have all the ratings done. We just have to do the graphics so we can post it. But don't worry, we have been doing it. We will taste something sweet from there. We'll have a little cappuccino from this mug, I think, and then maybe some tea from the Nemo's pizza mug. That's exactly like the Nemo's. Here we go. Hello from South Morang, Australia. You don't have any vowels in your name. SRHCHRSTPHDS. I'd like to say that rolls off your tongue, but it does not, really. Hi, Teresa in Chicago. Yes. 56 degrees in Chicago. Well, that's like get out the suntan lotion, right? That is very, very, very warm. Hi, Leo. Yes, let's talk about that. Leo asks, let's do the first question appropriately, Leo. You guys don't change in the UK until August 30th. So what about down under? Do you guys change down in Australia? I guess I could take an interest in other countries, but other cultures don't interest me. That is not true. That is called comedy. Hi, John Schubert in Deer Park, Texas. I don't know where that is. Are you near Austin, near Houston, near Dallas, near Fort McKinney? Leo asks about the network television special. Here's what I know so far, everybody. The TV special is seems to be confusing. Hi, Lee in Down Under. You finish daylight savings times next month. Isn't it cool that I can talk to Lee Down Under for no charge other than the opportunity cost of doing something else right now? I believe that is an economics term when I was studying business. Everything you do in life has an opportunity cost, means you're not doing something else. And I appreciate you guys listening to me because there's 4 other things I'm sure you could be doing. Yes, Purple Aquarius from New Jersey. Okay, the network special. Let's clear up as much as I know. This was attempted a while ago, a few years ago, and it went away for some reason. For some budgetary reason, not because of lack of interest reason. Okay, so now the idea is to do a show like the Friends clip show. So a lot of people have written, and there's other channels that's very easy, very interesting, that mention a reunion. And so the confusion is Phil and Ray and Patty and Brad and everybody's all on board in that They have no interest in writing new scripts and making a new show at this point. So you never say never. The Eagles, which was a band that they're still touring a little bit, but they had their They'll Never Tour Again, and then they had their When Hell Freezes Over tour. So you would have bet that none of them would be on stage together ever again, nor ever be talking again, and then they ended up doing it 20 years later. And money seems to drive a lot of things, and creative wanting to do stuff. For example, I know Ringo Starr, who was in a big band way back when, still tours. I'm pretty sure that Ringo is not doing it for the money, but people from the outside who are not artistic always go, they're in it for the money. I shouldn't say always, because that gets you in trouble. But a lot of times stuff happens for financial reasons, which makes sense, especially in the old days, for example, in the realm of music when people really got ripped off, and then they had, I think it was, there might have been a doo-wop reunion tour that came out of nowhere that helped so many artists who were, had a couple of hits and were taken advantage of by the companies. Okay, so the interest in the network is anything that gets ratings, period. The network was very supportive of Everett Raymond. We were very low in the ratings season 1, and they were behind us. But at the same time, they are a business, and so they have to make money. So if Phil Rosenthal said to Ray, hey, do you want to do another year of Everett Raymond, brand new scripts? We'll try and get as many of the writers as possible. Madeline Sweeten can be older. Brad and Amy can have kids. We can all do that. If Phil said, yes, I want to do that, the network might say yes. Okay? But that is not the goal of Ray, Phil, or anybody else. The goal is to reminisce, just like I do every week with you guys. You're a very specialized audience. I talk for approximately an hour about what a lot of Main Street people would go, why do you want to know so much about the show? And after 4 years of doing this every week, you realize, oh, there's so much to learn, especially when you have guests like the fabulous Rhonda last week, who has to come back at least 3 or 4 times because she was texting me some information, and I said, we're going to have to talk about the difference between props making food and craft service making food, etc. So if there's a network special, it would be, Phil and Ray spearheading it and making it so they reminisce. We show clips. We show, a little tribute to Frank and Marie. As much of the cast would join live in front of a studio audience. And I know somebody suggested, am I getting comments about my hair? Okay. All right. The toupee is, okay, there. How's that? Is that better? So the audience members, you guys who are like, boy, I would love to attend a live filming, that might be possible. So it's too early to know. It might not happen at all. It looks like it will happen. It's Hollywood, so stuff goes away. I know that there are movies that you hear about, like, when did they start making that? Well, it came out in 2023, and we started getting financing in 2010. So I think it's going to happen, but don't hold me to it if it happens. Phil's dream is to do it in front of a live audience with all the cast on stage and a live studio audience, just like we did the show in front of a live 200 studio audience members. And then you play clips, you reminisce, etc. And then that portion would be the main portion of the show. And then you would edit it and make it into a fancy schmancy TV show so that it didn't feel like it was just Tom's podcast with a few more people. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but if CBS or Paramount Plus or whoever owns the show is going to shell out hundreds and hundreds of dollars for this spectacular, there will be more production value than this, even though this intimate look at the show is really unrivaled. And that's why I know that you guys come here all the time. So, Leo, does that answer your question a little bit? I think it does. Now, if there's a live studio audience auction, not even for money, not hey, pay money to attend, but if there's only 200 seats, and this happened for our finale, the Everett Raymond finale, there's approximately 200 seats. You know what? And I should go back and count. I was in the stage 5 at Warner Brothers recently, and I should count the seats because I always throw that number out there. But it might say capacity, etc. For the finale, since we only had 200 seats, none of the wives, none of the spouses could attend the finale. It was a lot of the public, a couple of VIPs, and the thing that happened, David Letterman produced his show, and Worldwide Pants produced Deborah's Raymond. One of the things that Letterman did is he's like, I don't want a bunch of agents. I just want the public in the audience. So that's kind of what Phil and Ray are like, look, we want the public to see it. And I think Annabelle, who's usually watches, I think you attended the finale. Of course, it's a little bit confusing because Patricia Heaton lost her voice. So we did the finale 3 times, 2 times. We tried to do the finale 3 times. Twice with an audience. Once the audience got sent home. The other time the audience was able to see the full show. So there might have to be a lottery system to see if some of you guys who have been watching all these years can attend the filming, which my guess is it's probably in Los Angeles, but there might be something else in New York. So I will let you know. There's a meeting coming up this week about it. And so I will keep you guys posted as much as I possibly can. All right, Leo, I hope you are happy that that little piece of information came your way courtesy of your question. Okay, Bob, aloha. You know, Bob, if you were nice, you would invite everybody over to your place in Hawaii. Hello, Pennsylvania. Okay, let me catch up here. Howdy from yes. Okay, good. Hi, Linda, Fly Lady. Let's see. John near Houston. Near Houston. Okay, thank you. Answering. Hello, Susan Stompanato. Never thought I would say that name. I've read that name many times in the past. I always want to know how you guys came up with that sound. Robert makes it funeral so hilarious. Yeah, that's a great question, John Schubert. I'm going to have to ask Brad. My guess is that is 100% Brad Garrett. It might have been written in the script, but Brad Garrett still has to deliver that comedy gold. And if any of you watched, I posted that picture. Let me hold it up for those of you. If I was more fancy pants, I would have, let's see this. Ooh, I have an eBay item that's coming to fruition. What is it? And Everybody Loves Raymond's DVD. It could be. If you guys watched this, okay, so here we go. If you just watched this episode, there we go, camera locking in focus. And I put a heavier than usual copyright on there because I'm noticing my pictures are going faster and faster onto other sites without any credit. So, Tasteless Frank. Tasteless Frank is there, and there is a scene, for those of you that haven't seen it recently, there is a scene where, by the way, I don't want to race past this. Let me go back to that. That is, I just discovered that the other day. You would think after 22 years I'd know every picture. I must have gone crazy taking as much coverage as possible. The focus of that picture, it's a what is the technical term? It's a damn good photo. It's pleasing to the eye, but I very seldom got that low because I have to be in front of the cameras during the scene. And if Tom and his cameras tripped or moved the camera around here, let me stabilize that a little. There is a way to pull this on screen, but I haven't been that sophisticated yet to do that in advance. If I fell during the thing or dropped the camera or dropped a lens, which I did once, and it hit Doris Roberts, it landed on her. I was behind a couch during note session, and the lens fell off my camera and hit Doris Roberts on the back. And so Phil, who is like, here's the priority, Tom, making the show. Here's not the priority, you taking photos. So I very seldom would go in front of the cameras because there's nothing between the cameras and the cast. And if I trip, or if all of a sudden Peter Boyle goes, hey, I was trying to stay in the scene, but Tom was in front of me with his cameras. So that is a rare one. It's towards the, it's season 9. the reason I hadn't looked at it is because we had published the book already. So it was a frenzy to publish the Everybody Loves Raymond, Our Family album book. I have it somewhere around here. I'll show it to you later. That was a priority. And then once all my negatives went to China to print that book, I was no longer looking at every single frame that I took. And I took a ton still. I went crazy taking it because I knew this show is ending. In that scene, Robert eats something incredibly hot. And the noise that he made, I just watched that episode, hysterical, took me by surprise, forgot about it. That, I'm going to say, that is the genius of Brad Garrett right there. So you can only describe so much of a funny noise unless one of the writers had the idea like, hey, maybe make a noise like this. Then it's in the hands of Brad Garrett. And Brad is, there's a certain point in certain periods when people are just locked in, and Brad Garrett at that point is locked into that character, and it just felt like he could do nothing wrong. And that noise in Tasteless Frank season 9 is phenomenally funny. It's just hysterical. So for the most part, 99% that is Brad. So the funeral sound, I'm sure, was Brad. But that is a question for Brad and Phil. Hold on. Now I'm drinking. This is water. I had some pepperoni pizza, which was handed to me at an event, and that makes you very thirsty. Okay, let's go for a few questions here, everybody. Okay. Yes, top fan. So now we have to figure out how would we do a lottery? Let me see. Let me see. I'm combing through these things. Ellen, how exciting! How could it be a reunion without many of the beloved cast? I don't know what to make of that. Do you have a high school reunion without all the people from your high school in attendance? Yes. I believe you'd rather do that than say, guys, we can't have our high school reunion because 3 people can't make it. So if that's what you're talking about, I don't, to gather around. Just imagine right now if I could snap my fingers and say, hey, everybody, come to the public library in Los Angeles. I'm going to gather Raymond and Patty and Brad, and we're going to reminisce about the show. Would you say, I'd like to, but I can't because Frank and Marie are not there. Therefore, we cannot do that. So what you're hearing in my voice is it's either you do it or you don't, whether the cast isn't there, some of the cast. I mean, but as far as I think the confusion with people is reunion. It's not a remake of a series. It's a reminiscing about the series. Okay. I think that's a good example. I just thought of it. Gil, you'd come back to LA. Or, New York would be easier for you. Let me see. Hi. Okay. Hey, Tom, tomorrow's my birthday. 39 with 28 years of experience. Okay. Linda, age is just a number. And by the way, Ray was telling a funny story. Ray Romano. He saw a movie. I can't remember what it is. I'll find out what it was. And it's a black and white movie, and he's sitting there watching it. And I think Ray was 50 something at the time. I'm tipping the joke already. But in black and white, a woman comes down and she goes, an Italian woman, I'm an old woman of 55 years old. And Ray was like, that's interesting because he doesn't feel like an old woman of 55 years old. And so I do think, in the old days when you would live to be, 47 was an old age. I do think knowing I did spend a little time with Norman Lear, totally courtesy of Phil Rosenthal, and he made it to 100. And at about 96, it felt like he was slowing down a little bit. But he was at Phil's house and he was leaving. He goes, okay, I'll see you guys. And someone was like, how are you getting home? And he stopped and looked at him. He goes, I'm driving. And so the endowment of age crippling times, what I'm trying to say, Linda, is you're young. That was I could have said that, but hi Annabelle, you were able to get into the finale only because of the delay. Audiences Unlimited told me I was the last person they were letting in. Okay, so Annabelle actually made it to the finale. Annabelle, I think the reason is not because I have a great memory, but because I took a picture of you in the audience, and I also took pictures of other people because my friends flew out from New Jersey to come to the finale, and it was the only time they could take off, and they ran through hoops, all this stuff, and then the show was postponed and they had to go back home, and then there was a blizzard, so they had trouble getting back home. It turned into a nightmare. So Annabelle, you consider yourself a lucky one because the spouses were not able to attend. The spouse, how unbelievably bad is that? And for everybody, Audiences Unlimited, I don't know if they're still a company. We can check. Looking that up. But Audiences Unlimited was a company that would have to get audiences. Now, when you have friends, you don't have trouble getting people to go to your show. But when you had Everyone's Raymond the first season, you had people on work release programs from prison, you had Marines on leave, and you had people from old age homes. That was our audience the first season because everyone's like, we don't know the show and we don't really want to attend. But Audiences Unlimited, which again may have gone out of business because there were no audience shows for about 3 years of COVID or something like that. Okay, let's catch up. Hi, Terry. Let me see. Do I want to get into that subject? Can somebody tell me where I can find your ELR 360 episode with Patty Heaton? I only see a short and not the entire episode. Yes, Lorena. Hi, Lorena. So I have to go through. There was... so you can find it, I think, on YouTube. My people, I'll post it. But let me just say this. When we did that live with Patty, we had 2 microphones. Everything sounded good. Everything looked good. What we didn't know is we were only on Instagram. And Instagram only was able to have one channel of audio feed into the thing. The boring way to say it is we had 2 microphones, but you couldn't hear Patty's microphone that well. And so I was turning it up. I was looking at all my lights. I was going, everything seems fine. Over on these quadrants, as Brad Garrett likes to make fun of me for looking at all these lights that I'm looking at here. Let me see this. Let me see if I can do a little bit of, not online shopping, but let me show you what I'm looking at. A little bit of excitement. So the short of it is the Patty interview, the entire thing is the audio is not great. So in those short clips, I was able to fix the audio and do it. So I will at some point. Okay, here's one of the things that Brad Garrett does not know that I'm looking at. I'm looking at this. This tells me my audio levels on my one of my recording devices. So when Patty was the guest, everything showed good levels. Everything going in showed good levels. And then when I listened back, I said, oh, Patty Heaton's mic is not on. So we're both feeding off of one mic. So it's frustrating to watch. That's why I'm saying, otherwise I'd point you right there to that one. We have to go in and fix that. And by we, I mean me. Okay, by the way, let's brainstorm some ideas for how can we have a lottery. I think Facebook, there's a lot of rules about lotteries, etc. I don't know. There's got to be, how do we do it in a fair way that people aren't angry if they can't get in if it happens? All right, we'll brainstorm it. Take down notes, everybody. Write all your thoughts. We'll brainstorm. This is not as challenging as landing someone on the moon, but trying to get as many people into that audience would be great because you guys you guys would be a great audience. So the difference between you guys and what I was talking about with Letterman it's jaded agents, and there's nothing worse even for Phil and the writers. When we would do our live show called Inside the Writers Room, we toured with that show. You know, there's nothing worse than someone in the front row like this and doing this and kind of half invested. I know I'm saying the obvious, but you would be amazed. One time I did a tour with Phil. I was helping him, and a producer of his was there, and all he did was had a scowl on his face and was checking his phone. And afterwards, Phil goes, what the heck is he doing? He's right in the front row, and I'm looking at this guy scowling. Anyway, he no longer works with Phil. Just FYI. So we'll figure it out. Yes, one on the East Coast, one on the West Coast. We'd love to do a live tour. Annabelle saw our Inside the Writers' Room. Now Phil is a big draw. For those of you that haven't gotten tickets yet, Phil will be in Europe, in London. I believe at the Palladium. Is that what it's called? And I'm sure some fish and chip shops nearby as well. I envisioned something like the 2 episodes where there were other actors who discussed the shows and reminisce. Yes. For those of you that didn't see when, at the height of COVID, Lorraine Boyle put together a table read benefit for the Peter Boyle Foundation. It's not the Peter Boyle Foundation. It's for multiple myeloma, which ultimately took Peter. That table read is available on YouTube. I hosted the Q&A, but that was brilliant. And there was no Frank and there was no Marie, sadly, but it was absolutely brilliant. Hi, Maureen Schmidt. I envisioned something like the 2 episodes where there were other actors who discussed the shows and reminisce. Yeah, that was the clip show season 6. Yeah, I mean, I think it would be a lot. And also, what I have is a lot of video that hasn't been digitized. What does that mean for you guys? A lot of behind the scenes of Phil directing, of the actors talking, of an entire table read. All of that stuff we would digitize and have it come together. And we're also working on, for those of you that are that know the New York area, is everything okay in the studio here? I hear a lot of noise, yeah. The Paley Center, which used to be the Museum of Television and Radio, or the Museum of Radio and Television. I think it was Television and Radio. I'm not sure, though. We are going to try and do an event there in June. So I will keep you posted on that. And there, we will have to dig up for that all these behind-the-scene videos that I'm making. So for the reunion show, it would be a ton of stuff that you have never seen, even for the people who have seen it all the time. It's something that things that you have never seen, because I haven't seen since I filmed it. There's a video somewhere in my basement of me giving a tour of the entire set of Everose Raymond, of the entire stage. I walk in, I go, this is the wardrobe department, this is the props department. All that stuff will be in this reunion show if it happens, which I hope. Let's see. Hi, yes, Maxine. That's a name that you don't hear that much. I live 35 miles from New York City. It would be awesome if it was in New York. I will do my best, because there is, I will do my best, and I have, I have suggestive power. But when it comes time to filming something, it's really about the money. So if it costs less to make it in, Kim Brazier, where are you? If it costs less to make something in Mississippi, they could shoot it in Mississippi. And they'll go, why are you filming it in Mississippi? The show took place in Long Island. And they'll say, because we saved $1.2 million. And it goes, oh, okay, see you all in Mississippi. Hi, Linda. Yes, you feel 35. That's good. Okay, let me see. Reunion clip showing me on stage 5. Yeah. Now Bob Silva says he hopes the. Let me give you some airtime. There you go, Bob. I hope the reunion clip show can be on stage 5 at WB. I don't know why we say on, because technically it is in, but we always say on stage 5. That's where we filmed season 2 through 9, and Friends was there, their first season. If you saw the Lisa Kudrow video with Raymond, you see he's saying, we were on stage 5. And she's like, well, we were on stage 5. That's where we were. It would be awesome to be back on stage 5. I don't know the probability of that. There are not a lot of multi-camera sitcoms being filmed now. Maybe there's 5 or something like that. I don't know. Let me see. So... hi, Henry. So, Henry Wang. Greetings, Tom and fellow contestants. Nice. Vying for reunion tickets. Yes. What was the story behind the Jungle Love as a repeating song and theme show for the show? Okay, so that came from the snow day. You can always tell that I'm not an imposter, because I instantly know everything about everything within reason until I show my ignorance. That was in Snow Day, and they dance, right? And it's the just doing Jungle Love. Brad Garrett and Monica Horan are both really good dancers. Phil picked Jungle Love, and then he thought, "Oh, I usually do a. Am I going to have to take a drink from the favorite Coach mug in what is it? What are we calling this? Jet Black, Success Black? I don't know. Hold on. That is a cappuccino, and delicious. By the way, I made some brajol. Did you guys see that picture? Let's see. Let's see. I'm going to show that. So Henry, because Phil wanted to do a new opening sequence pretty much every year, that one just seemed like it was done. People love the dancing scene. Why not do it? So that was I'm going to say 100% Phil Rosenthal decision, and not a Ray Phil decision, because Phil usually came up with the great ideas for all the openings. Etc. There you go. There's a little bit of brajol. It's on my photo site. Pork, for those of you that are asking, and those are toothpicks. And I apologize to any vegans watching. Okay, let's get back. Wow. So let me go back up to hi, the flabbergasted man. You sound exasperated. Greetings from sunny Arizona. No daylight saving times here. You must be a fan of Lewis Black. It sounds like as exasperated man. Leo, would the join? Wow, I'm way behind. Would the writers join the TV special? Possibly. At least a little segment. I don't know. I think you guys know by now that I am not an egomaniac. But even if you are a writer, and you're like, everything kind of derives from the writers. Everything else is an interpretive art. The directing, the acting, all the stuff, because the writing begins it. The public says, I don't care. I'd like to see Patricia Heaton in a nice outfit. And so the writers are not really in demand. And so the network knows that. Phil's a champion of the writers, but even if the special was an hour and a half, it would be tough to have that much of the writers. Have to figure out how to structure the show. But yes, hopefully you would see some of the writers on camera. Let me see this. Where is the set? And would they gather in Ray's living room or around the kitchen table where the series ended? Now, Phil Rosenthal has Frank and Marie's kitchen table. I don't know. It's funny because that's a cool 50s, early 60s feeling table. Ray and Deborah's table, let's face it, all of their furniture was dull. That's a judgment. I don't mean to be mean. It was very dull. And so the table, I think it sold for auction because they did reassemble the set for our third wrap party that CBS put on at Barker Hangar at Santa Monica. The idea is to gather either in Ray and Deborah's living room. I think Raymond has the original couch. So somewhere in there, they would try and do the set. Yes. That's right. All right. For everybody that just joined, Tom Caltabiano here, writer on Everyone's Raymond. I took a lot of behind-the-scenes photos of the show. We published a book. I talk here every Sunday. I am not Raymond Romano. I was on camera a couple of times. But so for those of you that are like, who is this schmuck who's talking about the show as if he knows stuff and knows Patricia Heaton personally, or Phil Rosenthal, who's now has become famous. So let's see. Hi. Okay, I'm just racing past that because it's too hard to interpret. Hello in Norfolk. That's Norfolk, Nebraska, for those of you. So Lee Gerber, Down Under. Would be a hoot to see Stefania on the special. Lee, I'm going to say you're a man. Don't tell me how I know that. Yes, all kidding aside, Alex Meneses, Stefania is phenomenal, and hopefully she can join for the special because she is what they call comedy gold, which is why she went from a little role in Italy to as many times as possible that we could squeeze her into a scene. Hi, okay, Leo, here's this great thing. Wow, so many comments, so many questions, so many things. The one rare scene, those of you, I can't share comments on Instagram, just FYI. So if you're on Facebook, I can share those comments, but I cannot. There we go. Wow. Look at that. And we've defaulted again to off. Hello, everybody. Yes, there we go. Back to that. I don't know why it does that. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? So what happened is, I don't know. I'm not sure exactly, folks, but I am back. It loses, I'm using a program called StreamYard, and something happens if I do something, but it's weird that it doesn't end it. Okay, what was the subject? What were we talking about? Everybody. Let me see. Yes, yes, there we go. Okay. Okay. Yes. Sorry, Donnell. I don't know if you heard, but I was saying thank you for sharing the link, Donnell, to the interview with Patty. Patty was here January 9th, 2023. Is that 2 years ago already? Yes. Whoa. The audio is not great on that one on Patty's side, so I have to redo it and post it on YouTube so people can watch it. But thank you, Donnell, for sharing it. I love that you shared it. Yes, Donnell, I believe that the table and chairs were sold at auction. Yes, I believe you are correct. Let's see. The auction. Oh, thank you for sharing, Donnell. Okay, Leo. That's where we were. I said I can't share Instagram comments, and then I accidentally stopped the broadcast. The other rare scene was in Good Girls, Tom, where the scene focuses on Ray and Robert talking when Peter is fixing the good fan. This scene shows Ray with a wall behind him, but it should have been audience. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yes, the hood on the oven. Yes, that came up. Now that's a mystery, Leo. What Leo's talking about is, oh, you know what? Here's a rare treat for you guys. How do we run out of time? How is there just not enough time? So I haven't posted this photo yet, but I just scanned it yesterday. Do you know how excited I love taking photos? Clearly, that's why I take all those photos of behind the scenes. Here is kind of what Leo's talking about. Fortunate. If you are inside, this is a super rare shot. I will post this soon. Sorry for the glare. Glare out of focus. Come on. Come on. Let me go closer. And then maybe it'll grab focus. Yes, the theory worked. Okay, sorry, I can't hold my hand that steady. That is the audience in the distance. That's a notification that somebody has liked one of the posts. So let me clear that away. Okay, so the audience is in the distance. This will look better when I share the photo. You guys will be able to see. Come on. Come on and focus. Come on. Okay, it's hard to see, but there's a group of lights way in the distance. That's the audience. You see Ray and Elizabeth Herring and Brad Garrett sitting there talking. Shelley Woodhouse Collins is there. And oh, look what I just spotted in the center of the frame. There is our friend Rhonda. There's the studio audience. That's the director. That's Steve, who looks like Fonzie. That's the reflection of some grip items holding up a camera. Okay, so there you go. That's what Leo was talking about. In the scene, Good Girls, they're fixing the hood, the fan in the hood and they do a reverse shot, and they somehow fly in a fake wall to prevent you from seeing the audience. Very good. Ray in the background is a kitchen wall, but should have been the audience there. Yes, very good. Any update on the opening of Phil's Diner Restaurant? Hi, Jamie Fong. Jamie, are you from Los Angeles? So for those of you that don't know, this is a show that goes around the world, reaching hundreds and hundreds of people. That's not true. Thousands, more thousands. Phil Rosenthal is opening a new restaurant called Max and Helen's. Max and Helen's will be on a place called Larchmont Street. There's a Larchmont, New York, which everybody gets confused with which everybody gets confused. I think is the proper English. So Phil is opening a diner that's 30s themed. I believe it's 30s themed, not 50s, which is very common. It's called Max and Helen. Max and Helen are Phil's parents, who you would have seen if you watched Somebody Feed Phil. It's a long-awaited restaurant, diner, run by Nancy Silverton. Nancy Silverton is a James Beard award-winning pastry chef and regular chef. And if you look up Chef's Table on Netflix, you will see Nancy Silverton. She is brilliant. I know her fairly well. When I was at her house one time, she knew I was coming over. She had a whole wall of cookbooks, and she said, I've never opened any of them. Not as a bragging right, but just she's a natural thing. Lee, a live tour in Australia would be awesome. I think we could sell out. If we left today, we could get there in time for sometime in the near future. What is the show about Brad and Roseanne Barr? Isabella, I don't know anything about that. Who has Frank and Marie's sofa? Phil Rosenthal has Frank and Marie's sofa covered with plastic. Any new TV project in the future for Patty and Brad? Hi, Dejan from Slovenia, yet your name is Sonny Crockett, Miami Vice. Interesting. That I do not know. Yes, I can read. So for everybody, just so we're clear, I can read comments on Instagram. I can't physically share them like I do this. See? I got a hi, Tom, there. Okay, by the way, if I recognize the name, I put the name up right away. But sometimes people write untoward things. Okay, here's a long one. Never seen. Hi, Graham Whittle. Hi from the UK. Absolutely love ELR. My favorite U.S. comedy. I can tell you're from the UK because favorite is not how we spell it here. U.S. comedy show by far. But we only got the show. No backstory about the actors. No information on how successful it was over there. Can I ask, how good was it in the USA? Was it a multi-award winning sitcom? How did it compare to other great American comedy shows? Thanks again for creating comedy gold. Graham, which is a very British name also. Whittle. Didn't Frank Whittle invent the jet engine? Here. Alexa, who invented the jet engine?
The first patent for using a gas turbine to power an aircraft was filed in 1921 by Frenchman Maxime Guillaume.
Oh, these French.
It was to be an axial flow turbojet, but was never constructed, as it wouldn't require...
Oh, okay. So the French, but they never made it. That sounds very French. In 1928, British RAF College Colonel Cadet Frank Whittle formally submitted his patent. So Frank Whittle, I was correct. Okay. You're welcome, Graham. So now, the wise guy comedy person would say, look up on Google, Graham, and you will find out about the history of Everett Raymond. But since you've gotten my attention and you've complimented me many, many times, I will now be altruistic. Everett Raymond aired from 1996 to 2005. At first, it was ignored by the audience and the critics, and then it was moved to Monday night near the end of its run, its first season, and then it never looked back, and it was a top 10 show pretty much from that point on. It got 69 Emmy nominations. I think it won 16 Emmys. despite not being nominated, I think, for the first 3 years, or at least the first 2 years for sure. Maybe Peter Boyle got nominated because he was so good. And now it has grown in its legacy because there are no other family-friendly sitcoms coming down the pike. So that is the short of it. It was never the hot darling that Friends was or Seinfeld was. So it's just a mundane show about family. And family is not sexy to the later generations, I would say the current generations for certain people. There's, not having 6 really attractive people living together and sleeping together is not as appealing. However, if you live a normal life like most people do, it's very relatable, especially when you are if you're a kid and then you're a teenager. I would say the teenager is the least appealing, although you deal with parents. But if you're 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, even 100, the show starts to appeal to you. So, Graham, I hope that was a satisfactory question. I know you, if you're British, you usually appreciate sense of humor. Okay, Henry. So, we all submit our best impression scene reenactment. I don't know, Henry. There was a single elimination tournament. Yeah, see, that this is still subjective, though. Vote on the cast for tickets. Then you're just ranking people on their ability to act. It's a noble theory, but I think we need just a more random selection process, because a lot of people, comedically, your suggestion works, but I think we need a more random lottery system. Okay. You're welcome, Graham. I appreciate the civility. I have a lot of friends from the UK, and they're way too polite to be subjected to Americans. I've seen every episode multiple times, but after watching your behind-the-scenes info, I watch them a little differently. Always hilarious. When I need a good laugh, I watch the bloopers. Yeah. What's interesting about watching... Excellent. Thank you, Sandy Phillips. What's interesting about watching the bloopers is, yes, they are hysterical, but it takes a story to keep you engaged, because even I would watch the bloopers and I'm like, eventually you're like, okay, of course I was there, but the story pulls you in. And that brings me to the point that I commented about. When I post these pictures, I may have to take a, let me see, do I go back to tea? Hold on. What is my tea? Okay. By the way, I have to leave some, so here you go, everybody. A little extra strong PG tips. For those of you who are used to something more in a Lipton, these are PG tips. Weird, because I think of them as the what am I going to say? An iconic British tea. But when we were talking originally, Gil and Karen, nobody mentioned PG tips. Typhoon was mentioned. What else is the big one? I'm missing it. There's a big, famous Taylor's, right? Don't they own that? But there's something else, Taylor's. What am I? Okay, it'll come to me. I'm so lost in thought. I'm enjoying that. When I post these pictures, I know some people, and I know that half of them are kidding. Okay, all right, hold on now. Okay, cooperate phone. There you go. Okay. So when I post these photos behind the scenes, which is a great thing because you can see the kids in them. That's what I was pointing out. Yes, I'm sorry. I know it's blurry. If you go on Instagram or Facebook, you'll see it. Some people are like, oh, it ruins it for me. But I can tell you, I was there and I saw the lights and I walked on stage and I worked on the show for all 9 seasons. When the actors are locked in, it's no different than when you go to a play. When you go to a play, you're sitting in an audience. You're like, I just got dropped off by a cab, and now I'm sitting in seats, and there's some people who are annoying next to me, and there's an attractive person over there, and this, and now the play started. You are pulled in by their performance. You don't sit there and go, this isn't a real argument they're having, because I'm sitting in a seat watching people on stage. A good performance pulls you in. And it was the same way when you were watching Raymond. You would be sitting there. There's lights. There's 4 cameras. But all of a sudden, you're watching this intense scene of somebody fighting over a suitcase on a staircase. You're not sitting there going, "Oh, craft service is there. This is there." You are pulled in by the hilarity of that scene. And so, when I share these photos, I want you to know that I love you get to see the behind the scenes, and I wish people had shot this many photos on I Love Lucy, but they didn't. You're pulled in by the moment. And so it doesn't, I'm just sharing with you, even you've written the words that they're saying, you're still pulled in by the performance. You're not taken out. So just know that when I post those pictures, I'm sharing with you, and it doesn't spoil it for me. So I'm hoping it doesn't spoil it for you. Okay, let me catch up now on Instagram before I taste something delicious. Okay, let me scroll all the way down because I got to. Let me see this scrolling here. Did Marie really cook on the show, or the food was already there waiting for them to eat? Hi, Alfredo. Yes. Was there a particular scene that was hard to get through because everyone kept breaking? Hi, Paigey Powell. That's a really cool name. So no, let's see. Was there so you have to, know that by the time the show was being filmed in front of the live audience, it had been rehearsed for the most part for a week, and you knew the lines that were coming, and there's a lot of people relying on getting through the scene. So every once in a while, if somebody broke, it was just Patty broke. I don't think Doris ever broke. Raymond did a couple times. Brad did. So it wasn't. You guys are watching it. You're like, oh my God, this is the funniest scene. How do they keep a straight face? The breaking wasn't usually because it was so funny in the moment, the scene, which you guys are experiencing. It's something happened where Patty, and I think Patty broke the most, where something happened where she couldn't say her line. And then once you get the giggles, it's just hard to stop. So they would laugh at each other's performances, etc. When you are watching, it's a compliment. When you're watching a scene, you're going, how do they keep a straight face during this scene? It's so damn funny. More often than not, they're not laughing in that scene. It's another scene where somebody screws up a line or something happens. So, excellent question. And I love that question. Let's see. Let me scroll. Can't post, okay. Let me see. I'm scrolling around. I tried the Tunnocks you and Rhonda ate last week and loved them. The Tunnocks was the chocolate. Was that the chocolate last week? Yes? No? Okay. So the thing about those, I don't know where they are now, but I noticed the more I ate, the more I liked them. And I don't know whether it was the sweetness, and the sweetness level wasn't too high. There was something cumulative about them, and I really, really enjoyed them. And you know, you're tasting. Let me tell you a little anecdote, everybody. I did a lot of hosting for the. Was this last week with Rhonda? Yes. Okay. Okay, yeah, these are the Tunnocks from last week. Sorry, I lose track because I do something. Let me just tell you. Here you go. You ready for a little insight from? Here we go. There we go, everybody. Last week's chocolate deliciousness. I absolutely love them. Phenomenal. I can't even remember the rating I gave it, but it was very high, and it kept going higher. I interviewed Jan Filiu. Jan Filiu is the 7th generation Hennessy taster of cognac. And they taste the cognac every single day at 11 a.m., the exact same time. So they had consistency. When I'm tasting, I don't want to put myself on a parallel palate talent level with the 7th generation Hennessy cognac taster. But I do wonder, when I'm eating it, which is usually the same time, am I hungry? What is the last thing I ate? Did I drink some coffee? Where am I in my blood sugar level? All of these things that you can find excruciatingly boring, but it's a subjective thing, taste. I know people that don't like chocolate. The people that don't like chocolate are going to be like, I'll pass on this. So I did find the more cumulative, the more I ate, the better and better. Not that it was like an acquired taste. It was delicious to begin with. But I noticed something happened when I ate. So that is my descriptor of that. And I'll have to keep track, since we're going to make this very scientific, and I have a feeling we're going to be sent biscuits and cookies, as they say, then I'm going to have to make this as scientific as possible. Okay, I can tell. Where are we on time? How can that be? We cannot be out of time already. I have to taste something. Kathy's Cup O' Sugar Bakery. Hi, Kathy. I can't click on your name now because it'll take me out of this and then we'll go dark again. Was the turkey scene where Patricia drops the turkey supposed to happen? So what's interesting about that is the short answer is yes. What's interesting about that is it was 100% planned. Everything is planned on the show for the most part. 99.9%. I've explained this. I'm not saying this to you, Kathy. I want to see what you have at your bakery because I'm excited to report that we're getting closer to getting Marie's chocolate cake recipe from somewhere. Rhonda and I and Larry were on the case. We will figure that out, and hopefully we can make it in front of everybody. What's interesting is I posted the actual script where it says, Deborah drops the turkey. Deborah drops the turkey again. And I posted that under the scene because people said it was a mistake and they kept it in, which it was not. It was completely planned. Patricia Heaton did it brilliantly. But what's interesting, there were 2 comments that said, that's not true. It was a mistake under the script that I posted from the show that I worked on. So I'm like, oh, no wonder conspiracy theories are hard to kill. I'm showing them the fact. Now, I realize it. Because it's so brilliant, because it's so unbelievably well executed by Patricia Heaton, you're like, that had to be a mistake. There's no way on planet Earth that she had rehearsed that a couple of times. And so you just don't want to believe it. I, as a human being, don't want to believe that Patricia Heaton was like, okay, I dropped the turkey and then I do this because it seems so mundane. And there's a specialness, just like in the scene where Frank starts choking and he goes, set me up again. That was written in the script exactly, precisely. Peter Boyle delivered it perfectly. So there you go. I hope that helps out the clarity, a subject that will never die. How was craft services? Hi, Paigey Powell. Did anyone have regular requests? Craft services was phenomenal. And I do believe, let me see. I don't know. That's a good question for Larry next time he's back. Okay, folks, because we're going to run out of time, here is the canister. This is a long tradition in the writer's room. We tried to avoid writing. One of the ways to avoid writing was tasting cookies. The original contest was between Oreo cookies and Hydrox. What was better? Jeremy Stevens saying that Hydrox are better. So now, this, courtesy of Rhonda, yes, this is the canister. I have, what do I have in here? Okay, put that down. Here we go. Upside down. I had one job and one job only. Okay, here we go. Lemon Ups. So do you guys remember the cookies? Because I want to start making them. We have to publish a recipe book. The lemon drops. Remember when Patty says, hey, fat people, when they're reminiscing about the canister, the food that their grandmother put in the canister? Were lemon squares one of them? Help me out, everybody. Here we go. Here we go. Okay. Okay. Is that enough annoying noise? Okay, these are Girl Scout cookies, which you can only get in America, as far as I know. And it's not a thing. So here we go. I am creative. Wow. Inspirational thing on your cookie. Never seen these before. Okay, so hold on. Oh, there's some. Okay, folks, we need another hour because I'm going to have to go through all of these. I am a risk taker. Okay. Positive affirmations on your cookie. Never saw that before. I am a go-getter. I'm not going to read them all because I am a leader. and I don't want to lead you to boredom. Okay, so this is called a Lemon Up cookie by the Girl Scouts of America. For those of you that aren't in the United States, around this time of year, sorry, let me put this away so I'm not. Yeah, it's not gonna go into that night easily. So every year, Girl Scouts sell cookies. It's their fundraising function, and so you get accosted. I mean, you know what? The cookies episode. It's like the cookies episode, very much so. You have to buy them. A lot of people sell them, and so I will now try one. Okay, let me see. Let me just scroll. Let me just catch up before I fill. Why was the dog no longer in a series? Yes. Is it possible that the conversations could have been on YouTube? I see. That's a dual. Sorry, hear a helicopter going by. We don't remember why we wrote out Shamsky. Loved that turkey scene as a turkey cook. I know how hard it is to make stuff and grease turkey and stick it in the oven. Oh, yes, it is a challenge. Hi, Annabelle. Deborah rubs so much butter on the turkey, seems it might slip out of her. I don't see how she didn't fall down. Yes, a brilliant move. She is good. Yes, always be clothing. Chris Rossetti, the Thin Mince Rock. My daughter used to be a Girl Scout. I hear fire helicopters. I don't know if you guys hear that. Always makes people in LA nervous. Yes, Maxwell House. My daughter used to, we sold many cookies. Well, congratulations. That's, you know what I'm talking about. Yes, set me up. Yes, absolutely. Okay. Hi, Graham Whittle. Now, let's do this. Let's bring you up, Graham, before I taste this cookie. This is called a teasing the audience. Here we go. Sorry to hog questions, but may I ask, Marie was a typical Italian mother, cooking, home making, etc., but feel like she also had a very Jewish style to her character. Am I right? And if so, was that written intentionally? Well, I think the show is a combination of Phil's mother and Ray's mother, and believe it or not, Ray's mother was she was a Juilliard graduate in piano and classical piano. She studied, very young graduate, very gentle soul. And Phil's mother, I loved Phil's mother, but that Fruit of the Month scene was almost verbatim from his real life. So his mother and father were, as far as I know, New York Jewish people. And so their personalities were of that ilk. So, yes, they combined. So, yes, I would say there was that element, 100% sure. But also Doris Roberts, it's her person. No matter how much you write, Doris Roberts, was going to be Doris Roberts. Here we go. I am a leader. I'm going to break this in two rather than be an uncivil. Okay, here we go. The Lemon Up. Sounds like it could have been for a TV show. Mm-hmm. Oh. So, the most lemon I've ever tasted in a cookie. Now, I haven't tasted that many lemon cookies, but that is bursting with lemon flavor, exceptionally flavorful, a Lemon Up. Purple Aquarius is saying Lemon Up was a shampoo in the 70s. Well, so I'm going to say I find this really, really delicious. There are times when stuff tastes artificial, and this does not. Which, because I'm sure that the Girl Scouts, let me say, they're not known as the most organic / wholesome cookies. Here we go. I am bold. The Lemon Up, I'm going to give it a 7.3. It's phenomenal. I'm really surprised. You know why? Because Here, I'm going to give you the full experience. Delicious cookie and the loudest cookie wrapper ever invented, I will say. You're not going to sneak those into a theater unnoticed. This is not a cookie that would excite me, Lemon Up, and it is phenomenal. It is phenomenal. Wow. Really surprised by this one. What did I say? 7.3? That's pretty bad. That's pretty, yeah. A lot of people are fans of the Lemon Up shampoo. Yes, Lemon Up shampoo. That scent was great. Okay. Final perusing of comments before we say goodbye, and I will keep you posted on all things. All right, Linda, don't buy everything that I make, that I taste rather. Sorry. Shouldn't you give it a 9 or 10? You know, Anne Marie, I have to have my own. That's a good rating. I haven't given a. Have I given a 9 yet? We got to keep. You know, there's probably going to be thousands of cookies that I have to taste, and that's a lot of pressure. And so I don't want to go too high or too low. Hot tea would go well with the Lemon Up. Yes, Maureen Schmidt, you are correct. Has there been any cookie or biscuit you wished? Sorry, I'm trying to see. It's so here, Henry. Let me just bring this up for you. Has there been any cookie or biscuit you wished you could try again for the first time? That's interesting. Yeah. These completely took me by surprise. Yes, these were, but you guys are seeing it live. It's great. The scaling system. Well, we'll get more into it because there's going to be a ton. A 9 is going to be a rare one. I have to keep room for a 9. Have we gotten a 9 yet? I don't really think so. I don't believe we are. We have. Okay, everybody. Final questions here. Visit Belgian supermarket and check out the variety of cookies. Says dix.ceris. Lee Gerber. We are so disadvantaged in Australia. We don't get most of those biscuits. Yes, but you have kangaroos, which we don't have. Yes, Lemon Up shampoo. Yes, okay, great. Next time, read the ingredients. I can't read the ingredients on that would kill all of the fun. I think reading the ingredients. We are not here. It's a good idea. I don't want to, but I think reading all the ingredients, right? Don't some things have like 50 ingredients? Like even these, you know. By the way, right away, it's like look at this. Do you think I can read that? Look at that. You guys can try and read it. But that would be, I would go, hello, I'm Tom Caldabiano. I will now read ingredients from a cookie, and we'll see you in 15 minutes. But I guess you can look it up, the ingredients. But a good point made. I get it 100%. I understand what you guys are saying. All right. Yes, Laura. See, sorry, only because hi, Susan Berry. That's very nice of you. This is the happiest little space on Facebook, and I learn so much every week. Susan, that is very nice. And I'm glad that you found this group as well. You can spread the word. So this, I realize, for those of you that have been watching me for 4 years, this question that Laura asks, did the actors do every scene twice? If so, how hard was it to do the fire scene in the Kleenex episode? So I realize the basics, that my audience has been there since the beginning, knows the answer to all of these questions. Many of the old guard, the people that have been with me since the beginning, can carry the torch and answer most of the questions about how the show is made. But I realize some of you are first-time viewers or second-time, and so you're like, hey, there's a guy that's eating cookies. Let me ask him a question he's never been asked before. So, Laura, completely normal question. Every single scene is always done twice, 100%, except for if it's a really hard scene and somebody gets wet. For example, the tissues episode. They do it right up until the fire, and the hosing off and the getting Patty wet, etc. They do that multiple times. Then they do the big scene. Even the car coming through the wall, they did that twice over 2 days. The shower scene where they spray each other and they're completely drenched, they do that twice. They do right up to the point where they get drenched, and then they stop it, and then they do it again, and they stop it, and then they get wet, and they do the wet spraying scene twice. So the answer is yes. Was it hard? No. It was very, very well planned with the special effects guy, etc. So that is your answer. And I will go back, and for those of you that have seen it so many times, I will go back and take us through a week of production, all that stuff, because I realize so many of you are new, and I really appreciate it. We've gotten about 5,000 more new followers. So, all right, Tom Caldabiano. It's the I think I was going to show a few more things, but we're out of time, really out of time again. Thank you so much for all your questions. Write in your comments. I read all of your comments. I try and answer them, or I think I will answer them during the week and get to them. But spread the word, point everybody in our direction. The more viewers I have, the more likely that we will be able to help you get into that live filming of the show. If it happens, I will keep you posted on that front. All right. Thank you so much, everybody. See you again next week.